Hello and welcome to the Magar Press. My name's Jay. So today we are carrying on with our journeys through the Misty Vale. We are on number 3 of the different journeys. There's 5 different total, but we are talking about the random encounters that happen within the Iron Forest. So again, as always, there is a total of 12. And 1 through 6, it just says nothing happens. The walk under the dark foliage takes place without incident. But that's not really fun. That's not really entertaining. Why just give them something boring? Let's add some flair to it. So, number 7 of the D12, Troll Lair. A foul stench suddenly hits the player characters and they see the entrance to an underground lair. Behind some large boulders, tracks of the clawed feet lead down into the dark. The lair is full of bone fragments and from animals and humanoids alike. If the player character search the lair for a stretch of time and succeed with a spot hidden, they draw 2 treasure cards. After one stretch, the troll shows up in a rage. Okay. 8 of the D12. We have Goblin Trap. A group of sly goblins have set a trap in the middle of the path. The player character must make a spot hidden roll. Anyone who fails crashes down into a 4-meter deep pitfall and takes damage from the fall. Then the goblins attack. There are twice as many as the player characters and have stats as scouts on page 90 of the core rulebook. The goblins can be bribed into aborting the attack with D12 gold coins and a successful persuasion roll. The goblins serve the orc chieftain Maladuk, which they admit if asked. They can also reveal that Maladuk is currently at Bothold's Load. 9 of the D12, the Dragon Knight. The player characters hear the sound of rapid hoofbeats approaching. Those who succeed with an awareness roll can hide if they want to. The others are stopped by the armored knight. His name is Tylos, and he is a member of the Keepers of the Immaculate Flame, whose mark is also seen on his armor. Tylos asks where the player characters are headed. No matter what they say, they must make persuasion rolls. For Tylos to believe them, as he suspects them of being Sothmog's cultists on their way to Fort Malus to free their comrade who is imprisoned there. If the roll fails, Tylos attacks unless they are working with Shadowleaf. If they manage to calm him down, Tylos orders them to follow him and leads them to Fort Malus for an important quest, solving the riddle on the cellar door or hacking through the door, but Tylos will not reveal that now. If the player characters have already been at Fort Malus, Tylos is not aware of this. If the player characters refuse, they are once again persuade him or be attacked. Tylos has the same stats and gear as Isabella and rides a combat-trained horse. 10 of the D12, Prowling Manticore. A hungry manticore stalks the player characters through the trees. Let each player character roll awareness with a bane. If the player fails, or if everyone fails, the manticore's attack counts as surprising, which gives it the initiative cards 1 and 2 in the first round. It runs off after losing half its HP. 11 of the D12, Hunting Elves. The 2 elven hunters, Aidnall and Orphan, lie in ambush. Stats as hunters on page 105 in the rulebook. Let the players roll for awareness with a bane. Those who fail are caught by surprise by the elves, who suddenly appear by the trail and bows drawn. They seek their friend Ely, who has been abducted by a mounted knight. See encounter number 9, Fort Malice, page 79. So this goes with the one that we were just talking about, Dragon Knight. The 2 elves suspect the player characters to be involved, but can be placed with a persuasion roll. If the player characters help the elves in some way, in some concrete way, they will be rewarded with a master-crafted elven weapon each next time they meet. If Illy has already been freed when this encounter occurs, she is with the 2 elves here, and the player character are invited to make camp with 3 elves. 12 of the D12. Chanting Cultist. The player characters hear chanting from a gloomy glade. Moving closer, they see hooded figures, as many as the player characters. With burning torches in their hands, player characters who succeed with a languages roll hear the words, Sothmog, our 3-tongued master. The cultists have the stats as per page 105 in the rulebook. If the ritual is interrupted, they attack and fight to the death. If it is allowed to continue for a stretch of time, the cultists vanish into black smoke, and a demon materializes and attacks. Ooh. That one sounds like a lot of fun. The demon looks terrifying. If you look at the stats, I mean, we've already done this. What am I talking about? We've already done this. You all know what the stats for a demon looks like, okay? Wow. That's intense. I like that. So yeah, my fellow GMs out there, or fellow players, shit. What do you think? Because again, I'm gonna tell you, I want to make this a D20. I want more opportunities. I want different random encounters. You know, if you only have 12, and there's really only 6 because 7 through 12, they can happen quite often. And if you're playing in a campaign, we want them to be different. We don't want to do the same thing over time. So let's make this a D20, okay? So comment down below, what are some things we can add to this list within the Iron Forest? But yeah, don't forget, like this video and share it, of course, with other fellow Dragonbane friends. As always, live on and game on, my friends.